people suffer from, whether it's on vacation outdoors or in an emergency, is thermoregulation, keeping your core temperature.
Oh, yeah.
So whether you're in the desert and you get too hot, like people that don't know, if your car breaks down in the desert, you don't try to hike to find help until the sun goes down. You wait in the shade of your car, like underneath it, beside it, whatever, and then you hike after the sun's gone down, or else you're going to find yourself in a much worse situation.
And that's why I've been told always leave extra blankets in the car.
Always.
In the
I
car.
try to help my family with that all the time. I pack bags
You know?
and put them in their car, and then they take them out, and I say, no, just leave it in there.
Right. Just leave it in there.
It's a very thin aluminum sheet. It's Mylar.
Yes.
It's not heavy.
Right, but the emergency blanket type stuff. Yeah.
You can put it to the core.
Oh yeah, we took it to the not hiking. I'm sorry, fishing trip. The very thin aluminum tap or
Nice.
tarp.
And in your car, see, that's just it. Most of us are more likely to have a small emergency, like your car breaks down far away from help, and it's not a life-threatening situation. But like, say you just want to have the stuff in there so you could sleep comfortably if you need to, until the sun comes up and it's easy to like hitchhike or wave somebody down.
My secret to poison ivy, if you identify that you brush onto it, you know what I do? You find any dirt or mud.
Rub it on.
Immediately, yep. Catalytic, dude.
Poison ivy. He got a lot of poison ivy.
Just wash it off.
Yep.
Because when sometimes my hands, like, you know, when you touch on the dirt, it sucks so much oil out.
It's the oil that causes the problem.
So it's like, hey, the woman uses mud mask.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Dirt and mud would do the same thing.
And here in the woods, you come across what they call humus complex. So when you go like if you go right off the trail, you're not gonna find dirt like in your flower bed at home. It's gonna be like roots and weird stuff.
Well,
It
what
still
about
works.
what
You just,
about
like, rip some up and get it on there?
dry leaf work, right? Dry
Yeah,
leaf.
dry leaves will work. Well, you get them, you gotta
Smash.
get them to crumble up.
Yeah.
You gotta get them kind of and turn them into particles.
I see
But
some dirt though. I mean, I see like brown dirt actually.
oh yeah.
I see a few patches of brown dirt here.
And just like, I mean, honestly, like, people don't know, hikers, when they get sick and they think, oh, was it the water? It's usually,
Oh, yeah,
they say
I was
it's
gonna
basically
ask.
when hikers haven't washed well after they went to the bathroom.
Oh,
So, like,
yeah.
when people are getting sick
Right.
out here, like, there's times the water source might be questionable, but not here. If you're up here on the ridgeline,
It's
you're
okay,
drinking from
drinkable,
springs
right?
and
It's drinkable.
Oh, I haven't filtered water up here in 20 years. And when the water gets so bad that you have to filter it up here, that's it. We're done. Like,
Yeah.
you better believe.
No,
it
but
must
I
have
think it's
polluted the
very
whole dang
it's very
environment at that
clean. I
point.
think it's
Now,
drinkable.
and the water from here, like at the park stops, they actually have a treatment plant. I'm not able
Okay.
to taste the chlorine and stuff. But when you're out on the trail and it's coming out of a rock spring or a creek,
Yeah.
Where it comes from too. You gotta look up there.
yes, sir, exactly. And that's the real thing about water, drinking water in the
Some
wild.
kind of moss.
Just so down there, you don't mess with it because you could be close to a cattle, somewhere where they're raising cattle or livestock.
Oh, and then fertilizer.
And they go, fertilizer's getting in, but up here, it's pretty safe.
You might talk about it. Oh, maybe the spring comes down and you like maybe the bears up there.
Pooping in it, yeah.
bears
Well,
up there.
so the good news
But that's
is,
part of
the
nature.
good news is that for the most part, that ain't happening. So like, still, the thing to look out here is like if the creek comes and then goes under Skyline Drive, it's still probably pretty clean. But you got weird stuff coming off the road as it washes into
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So you want to go like up a little bit from the road, like uphill, and get that water that's coming from. And because as it's coming through all that leaves and moss and rocks, it's literally filtering.
It is a filter in itself, and it tastes much better than tap water.
It's fine, but if you live there and someone put fertilizers and
No. You can't. My buddy's a really experienced fisherman in this region, and we don't eat the fish anymore. Like maybe in Shenandoah, which you're not allowed anyway.
Yeah.
But maybe they're healthy. But like down there in Rappahannock, as beautiful and pristine as it is still,
you're like, I don't know.
compared to
It's
Northern
the city.
Virginia, the waterways like Shenandoah River, like we don't eat fish out of the Shenandoah River anymore, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Because for a long time you could, but the major waterways across the United States are pretty much, you don't want to mess with them unless you
You're on a mountain
really.
because now you get like chemicals.
Yeah,
from
it's
stuff.
sad.
So-
What they talked about when
Yeah.
I was in middle school age, in high school,
Even like
it's
tuna out in the
happened.
ocean.
It's
They
happened.
have,
Yeah. Remember that movie Encino Man in the 80s? the caveman, he came
Pauly
back
Shore
from
and
from the
Brendan
past.
Fraser.
Yeah, and the first thing he tasted the water, he was like, ew. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
And Cinnamon.
You just talking.
Brandon Fraser, yes.
Oh my God, you are awesome.
we all think alike, see? We all
Yes,
think alike.
ma'am.
Survival straw. Then.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
they got different ones now. I got the straws when they came out, and then Sawyer.
Wait, what's that? Is that a filter?
Yeah, and
The water
I
filter?
haven't. This one I haven't ever used. I mean, the other one, I had one of these that I used a bunch, and it was.
Only when you
I didn't
fill
clean
with
it well
water.
enough one time. But if I am at a water source that's questionable,
Wow.
I will use it. And these are great. It screws on to pretty much any standard bottle. And then here's what I learned the hard way though: is it comes with a syringe that you fill with water. So when you're done using it, you clean it immediately. So the
Okay.
other one I had, which is the exact same unit, I didn't know, and I carried it around. I used it one time in a really dirty puddle, you know, it gets get it clean, and I didn't know that you got to clean it immediately. So like months later, when I went to use it again, it was all gummed up.
Don't you have to kind of drop it? I don't know what it's called. You drop it in the water.
Yeah, the tablets. They got like there's different chemicals.
And then they
that
have
use.
like a tablet, like a
Yeah,
pill.
and I keep some of those at home for like a really serious emergency. But you can also use chlorine bleach.
Yeah, but not too much.
Like there's a recommended amount per gallon. And when it comes down to poisoning yourself with the water or drinking a tiny bit of bleach, it's better to use the bleach. Like even if you're a purist, getting sick.
Water is kind of like
But the tablets, same thing. They've had those for a long time. They got different chemicals these days. Now they got little drops that you can use too that are supposed to be not doesn't foul up the taste as much. But at the end of the day, a little chemical taste beats getting sick.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about a day flu. If you get sick from something in the water, it can really mess your
Right.
meat up.
So I was gonna ask, like, what if you got like food poisoning or salmonella from,
So never, in all these-
undercooked food or
In
whatever?
these years, I've never gotten sick from water or food hiking. The only time I've gotten sick adventuring was when I went into town and ate at a buffet. And I picked the wrong thing. My buddy said, he's like, what are you doing? You never eat the clams or something off the buffet.
No,
And
he's
like,
a king buffet. King of buffet.
Buffets are good.
Oh, the
but,
buffet.
like you said, don't eat the. Yeah, you gotta.
Someone like dry
And some of the stuff they put out, like, no, you don't eat the raw clams on a buffet.
heard
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Or oyster or
I heard they blow warm now even in fish.
Oh,
I thought they were
It
in pork,
happens.
but now they were in beef too. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
no, that's gonna give you a run for
So
all.
you can't blame the buffet for that. They put it out. but
Right, but
Common sense.
even at dinner time, don't go there till 6:30 because some of the food from lunch.
it's dried up.
So go when it's busy too. So they bring up.
Hey God, you guys think like twins.
This is it's strategizing. It's called.
To me, it's like I'm from. So like I said, I have all the concussion. I have 5 concussion growing up.
Oh,
He have 9 lives. He have 9 lives. Doesn't matter how
I
many.
fell down a head collision with a bicycle 30 miles per hour here. It was a big tennis ball here. I fell down when I was skating. My foot went up the air. I never see a doctor. Struggle all my life. Like I say, I'm 49, but
You look great. Oh my God.
we're still on the club. 40. I could dance for 5 hours. Like, the manufacturer outfit.
Hey, it might have just knocked out some of the bad and left the good. That's how I feel.
People go to club, people, they go in groups, well, I'm like, stop dancing so hard. People come around me, I hate them. It's like, what's up?
This guy's into it. We'll just give him some space.
Yeah, don't mess with him. Don't mess with
Yeah,
him.
not about it. Just like that. Dude, give him some
And I
space.
don't drink, alcohol, smoke.
Smart.
No energy drink, it's all
Hell yeah.
music. I'm more like 100% trance.
Yeah.
Because it goes up. Like techno is harder. But it's good.
Yeah, I like
Hip
trance.
hop.
I love it
Trance is
all.
more like I like a lot of energy, a lot of.
Yeah.
When it goes down, slow down, like trance with the glow sticks, all
And it
that.
builds back up, and that's the nature of the waveform, up and down.
People don't understand, but first I didn't know, but until you see the movie Braveheart back then. Braveheart or
Oh, Braveheart, yeah.
remember when they did die? They passed on. They had the theme song. First, like, trance is just music. There's no sing. I'm like, what's this? When you watch this movie, like, same thing. You put your mind to that trance,
Yeah.
So this is how I learned to do trance. Like,
Yeah, that's what they talk about the harmonica. Howard Levy, one of the world.
Oh, can you
leading
play a
players.
harmonica?
Yeah, I play a little, and it's because the instrument's right here. He says it helps you get into a trance state. Unlike trying like when people that are novices playing guitar and stuff, which is okay, they're looking at it. Or if they're playing piano, they're trying to like see what they're doing. And with the harmonica, you don't see it. And it also reverberates as you play it. It reverbs through your own head.
Piano now, they just close the eye, just know where.
Yeah, when you know what you're doing. Yep.
I like to hear him play a little bit.
We gotta do that outside.
Yeah.
It's loud.
Okay, so one question. You guys were talking about food and everything, and so have you ever get lost on the trail?
Yes and no.
Yeah, most of the marker.
Like if you
Around here, it's practically impossible.
so
Now,
it's straightforward.
You can
straightforward.
you can get lost like for the day.
Yeah.
You could if you got on the Appalachian or if you got on any of the trails in the park, especially when the leaves are
trails
in,
lead you somewhere. So.
and you were to walk off of it and then you're like, I don't know where I am. If you go downhill, you're going to end up over there and find a paved road. And if you go downhill on that side, you're going to end up over there and find a paved road. You're going to be back in society really
Go to the
fast.
highest point.
And then if you want to go up, here in Shenandoah, if you go up, you're going to find Skyline Drive. Because it goes like, you're going to find a paved road. And,
but that,
in the wilderness, yeah, one time, the closest I got to really being lost one time was going to the bathrooms. And my dad and I had camped just off the trail, just 50 yards. So you can still see, even with the dense foliage on the trees, you can see the trail. And we packed everything up to go hike our day, and this was in Maine. And everything's packed up, so now the campsite, like you can't even really see where we camped, because again, even with tents, it was low impact. But so everything's packed up, and I'm like, oh, I've got to go over to the bathroom real quick. So I hiked a little further into the woods, and I turned around and made a note of landmarks, like look back, because when you're going into the dense forest, you can lose your place really quick, even if you pay attention.
I heard that as you go a long way, even though you don't want to break the trees, break, maybe do a tiny break, just like bend it at a time. So you
And around when you're on the trail, you don't have to worry about that. But that's a good thing if you're going to go off the trail to go to the bathroom or to pitch a campsite. And so I went off. And even I look around, I'm like, oh, there's this big tree, make a note. And then I walked a little bit more, and there's the tree. And then I did my business. And then I went back. I was literally like 200 feet from where we camped. And I just turned a little bit off and couldn't identify the tree.
So they all look the same.
I was like,
yeah, they all look the same after a while.
exactly, it all looks the same.
Or like if you have a knife or something, you can always take the center of the blade, you go to the tree trunk, drill a little circle, go next tree, a little mark.
No.
Yeah, so when a little mark is okay. It's just like break a little branch.
But I have a better idea. What about the spray color? Spray.
Well, I can tell you what I do now. Like even when I'm out here, like the other day, I pitched camp like 2 or 3 tenths of a mile off the AT, which that adds up when it comes to like identifying. So the joke was I wasn't gonna get lost. Like I knew where the trail was no matter what. But when I had to go run an errand like down the trail to either go look at the viewpoint or do something I had planned, what I could lose is the campsite. Yeah. The campsite is now in the middle of nothing. There's no trail to it, and it's like 200 feet, but you can't see it. So I'll take handkerchiefs and brightly colored fabrics and stuff like.
Take little pieces of time.
Yeah, and I'll hang a handkerchief here, there, and then when I get to the trail, I'll leave a big marker. So when I'm walking back, I'm like, okay, here's the marker.
You know what I thought too?
Yeah.
See a lot of dead branches? Just carry one, make a little piece.
Yes,
Just make a
exactly.
like a little dot, like a car.
Hansel and Gretel.
Get on the trail.
Hansel and Gretel.
You can make little arrows. I'll take them and like make literally like take a stick and a couple pieces and have an arrow that points
So if you see one there, that's why you see another branch next to it. So it was there.
Yep.
So like just follow that little.
So the good news, like he's pointing out, when in doubt, like just make it easy on yourself. You know, and trust that in the woods you can lose track of things really quick when you're off the trail.
Oh, yeah.
When you're on the trail, the only mistake you can make is accidentally going the wrong way, which just happened to me like a couple days ago. I got up.
Oh yeah, instead of north
I was
south.
up at like 5:30, 6 a.m. It was dark. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. I got up early, and like 5 miles the wrong direction.
But that will push you back behind schedule,
Well,
right?
unfortunately, I don't have much of a schedule. That day, I actually honestly had something to do. I had to take my car to the mechanic, and I was hiking back to the car. So I got lucky, and I hitched a ride, which was lucky because it was early on like a Tuesday morning. And
To 5 miles, that's a long. I mean, that's a lot of time.
yeah, I was moving fast, but still, that's at my like 2.5 miles an hour. It was a 2-hour walk.
Yeah.
So then I had, if I wanted to get back, it was actually my car was here at Skyland, and so at that point, yeah, I had the energy, but I was supposed to be at the mechanic by like 10 o'clock, and it was 8:15, and it was 5 miles plus the 4 miles to Skyland. So now it's 9, and that's gonna take a few hours.
Right. Of lost time. Of lost time.
Oh goodness.
She want to go further down, so it's gonna take her back to the car. Like, I know the car is from there. Okay, that's why we came from uphill down. So that means we're like going towards down there.
That's exactly right.
And I said, you did this before. She said yes. Then all of a sudden, like, go halfway down. So like, I think it's a trail out there. We're supposed to make a left. Yeah.
This stuff, this will all go. This will all go with my camp stuff. Actually,
Wow.
I could use a couple of those.
Oh yeah.
Like you just say, like I don't use it much, but it'll go in there and it'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
used eventually.
Even the jam. Oh, are you kidding me?
This young lady's pet that she loaned me.
The beautiful dining hall here at Skyland. We had a nice breakfast and a wonderful chat with this expert hiker. Oh yeah,
Well,
is that
that's
the
interesting.
Is that the cups? Cool.
That's one of them.
Look at that. It's like a.
I never went to New York ever in my life. I went there 1 month before it happened. I went to Tower 1, Tower 2. I never drank either. My friend gave me a drink. I went down. I was in the sidewalk. I look up. There's a cloud right at the tip. I saw the airplane flew right by it. I said, what if the plane hit something one day?
Oh man,
No,
he can
it's not like
predict the
Yeah.
I
future.
got goosebumps every
No,
day.
that's the Akashic record. They say the
And I can
nature of
fix-
it's all written. It's not necessarily that there's not free will type deal. We won't get into all that. But,
Yeah, and I can sense something, like I feel like death or something. And
Yeah.
weeks later I hear people say someone
like I said, we are antennas that transmit and receive. Just most people, their band that they tune into is like this, and not necessarily what everybody says it is.
So can you take a few pictures with me and
Mine's limited
what's his name? Oh my god, I forgot his name.
Yeah, let him clean up.
And then you can reprogram yourself. because
It's like a CPU up here.
It really is. No.
Yeah, it is. The
So much
CPU.
trouble.
In the back of my head, where I fell down ice, we just follow this fine. Feet went up in the air. Guess what? Your back part of your head.
Oh, in the back. That's where the freaking vision center is.
Vision, yeah.
And that's where like you crack your head back there and go blind. You gotta be careful with that one.
So one last note.
And this is what head
How do you,
30 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So your pocket knife, is that how you
Oh,
cut
this
cut
is the-
stuff and
This is the thing. If you,
Oh, yes.
you know,
Swiss Army.
this the Swiss Army's type, but the Leatherman Wave. If you buy one tool ever, and
Cool.
they get a lifetime warranty. If they break, you send them back, and they'll mail you a new one or fix it and send it back.
Wow.
But they're expensive.
It's like a
But-
scissor and a knife and
Oh yeah, so
all
it's
building.
got the needle nose pliers come in handy for a lot.
So
Stinks. Right?
Oh yeah, and then you've got your screwdriver, which has got a flathead on one side. Now I have a whole
Cool.
kit, so I use here's your flathead there, and they make this one's like runs 150 now. But like I said,
Whoa.
if you take care of it, it'll you can pass it down to your kids or your nephews or nieces.
Wow.
The Leatherman Wave.
Oh, Leatherman.
This tool, like it won't. You can't break it unless you try. And if you do, if
Oh no,
something does happen,
it's built
you
for
can send
military.
It, you can mail it back, and they will fix it for free.
Oh my goodness.
But you've got a knife, a saw,
Yeah.
another serrated blade.
It's like
you
multiple-
can get a weight plus $100. That's a good deal. Oh, see, so the Wingman, they make other ones that are a little less expensive that are just as good.
Yeah, it's good.
The
Sometimes you
big,
don't need all of them.
the big thing about this one is this little spot for the screwdriver, you can get a whole kit of bits.
Okay.
Which I have in my car. So like you can switch this out with all sorts of tools.
Oh
if
my
you need
goodness.
it.
Oh.
So that's
That
why.
is
But if
awesome.
you don't have a use for that, if you're not that into it, the wingman and the
But if you drive with your car dies, sometimes you might need, you know.
yeah. But this again, like for camp cooking, for eating, like this knife will take care of everything. Now I
So-
carry in the woods.
Do you have to chop woods? Like
I
for
don't build
cooking?
I don't build fires
No,
much.
you don't.
And in
Okay.
Shenandoah, you're only supposed to build them in designated areas.
Oh,
anyway.
okay.
But even if I was outside the park, building a fire is a great activity, and it'll also give you something if you want to cook on other than your stove or if you
Right.
don't have a stove.
That's what.
But it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, but we do that in the campsite.
Yeah, so when
yeah.
you're out on vacation, it's one thing. If you're hiking long distance and you're trying to make a lot of miles, or you got a deadline or schedule, and you're by yourself, you don't spend a lot of time. Group, if you're with 2 or 3 people, it's different because then to gather firewood goes fast. You got
Right.
3 people doing it.
So
But
what
when it
is that
comes-
knife for? Like
So this is the idea of a utility knife in the woods. Yeah, it's good for kitchen work. You know, like
Okay.
like I said, I carry carrots and onions and garlic. So I'll use this like a
chop,
kitchen
chop,
knife.
chop, yeah.
But this is also, these are made to split wood. Like
Okay.
you can't split like a big piece like an axe.
Right,
but
right.
you take the smaller pieces and you put this on there and
Right.
you bang on it with a stick. Or you can also,
Right,
that's
right,
also used
right.
for chopping trees, which you can't do in the park. But if you were out in the national forest and you wanted to do like primitive campsite stuff
Right.
and build a shelter from the materials around, you know, this will go at the base of the tree, and you'll
Gotcha.
basically, you don't use it like an axe. You place it there and you use a stick to bang on it, and you bang
Oh,
and,
okay.
and you basically chop.
Yeah.
You can chop
Yeah.
small trees and limbs, and then when you have wood that's bigger, you break it down into smaller pieces for your kindling, or you use it to scrape and make the even smaller fibers and stuff for the really starting the fire. But-
So, is there any part on the trail? And I'm sure there is. Like, you have to clear the side on
You know,
the trail,
They maintain
overgrown or whatever.
different groups maintain the trail throughout from Georgia to Maine, Maine to Georgia. So it happens, but no, generally it's well maintained. And when
Okay.
if it gets overgrown with weeds or tall, soft plants, it's basically like if you got long pants on, roll them down and walk on through. You know,
what I do. It's like
and
you
you roll the
pants,
pants,
too.
yeah, so you don't get stung by anything, or it's like, you know, if there's ticks or something, they're on the outside and not the inside. You know, you can find them on your pants later and not crawl up your leg.
So that put to my next question. Have you ever run into snakes and?
I know
Yeah.
this copperhead. So.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a lot of snakes here in Shenandoah that are beautiful and they won't mess with you. The copperheads you don't see too much even in the valley. They
I know the
exist.
cottonmouth, they come after you, right?
Oh yeah, they say they're really aggressive as
Yeah.
opposed to the rattlesnakes, which do exist. There's timber rattlesnakes here in Shenandoah.
Wow.
I heard it's good to eat.
But
I
the
thought
good
only in
news-
India.
That too. I haven't got to eat one, but
I thought only in India.
no. So America's got a lot of snakes, but yeah, India and some of the jungles like Vietnam, I hear have some like
Mostly India.
serious.
You know, they
infections.
play with the snake too, with the music. Remember, they were like,
they got timber rattlesnakes. I mean, they have non-venomous snakes like garter snakes and ringnecks
rattlesnakes a lot.
and green snakes. But up here in the mountain, you can see a rattlesnake. The good news is they're not aggressive generally, and they
Usually they
rattle.
get one first.
Like when I
Yeah, the
almost,
tail, the
almost
tail.
stepped on one. True.
Ooh.
Pay attention, and you hear. And then all of a sudden you're like, what? Or just the other
Oh,
day,
yeah, they
I was
hissing.
hiking with my poles coming down, not on a trail, just coming bushwhacking down the mountain. And I don't think it was a rattlesnake, but still, the pole, because I was using it in front of me, the pole got it, and the snake,
Ooh.
you know, it didn't hurt it, but
Right.
you know, I might have stepped on it if the pole hadn't moved it first, and the pole kind of brushed it, and the snake was like,
wow. It's hissing. You can tell it's hissing.
Next time you don't know what you're stepping on.
Oh, yeah,
well, and
nighttime.
good news, they hunker down at night too, generally.
Sometimes they're under the leaf though. You don't know
And that's
what you're
just,
stepping on.
and that's just it though. They could be under leaves,
You
like
get a
trying
stick
to stay
sometimes, you just
warm,
kind of, you know, watch
or
out.
they like to go into the nooks and the rocks to stay
Yeah, they're
warm.
like cool.
Cave.
So, sometimes. So.
Yeah, that's it. To stay cool. They'll sun until they're warm enough, and then they'll go.
And they use to hear the thermal, the heat sensor, so that's what it is.